What advice do you have for people who are single and they're frustrated with the dating apps?
I think one, delete your app. Like, just quit.
You heard it here first.
It's like we have truly lost the art of trying. Like, everybody is so afraid to fail. Just be like, you're so cute, and like, I'd love to know your name. Like,
why am I reacting like that? Why am I like, oh my God, that's such a cool idea, what a great idea? Welcome back to Rebooting Connection. Thank you so much for joining me again in my best friend's living room. This time we're doing something a little bit different. I'm going to start the first of what will be a series of great interviews about people who are leveraging human connection in the digital age. My name's Leanne, I'm a marriage and family therapist. I do research at the intersection of human connection and technology, and I started talking online about my perspectives about how we need to stay grounded and embodied and focusing on human connection while AI and technology is doing its darndest to replace that and distract us from what makes us uniquely human. My first guest embodies this so exquisitely. She is going to tell you all about how she has leveraged human connection and taken a frustration and a complaint about her own experiences and is moving something that has traditionally been online and on apps and moved it into her community. So, as we know, people are reaching peak dating app burnout. People are frustrated about the cost. People know that these algorithms are not necessarily helping them find a love match, but instead are prioritizing profits. There's also safety concerns. And then there's my biggest gripe, which is that dating apps' existence is just changing how we relate to people in person. When was the last time you felt comfortable going up to someone in a bar and saying hello? If you live in Dallas, this woman needs no introduction. This is Abbey. She's the founder of Datey. She has taken her own frustrations with dating apps and turned it into a unicorn of a new organization, bringing singles together all throughout the DFW area, soon to expand to Austin. Everybody welcome Abbey Hagan.
thanks for having me.
Yay, I'm so happy that you're here. Okay, so you're 28. You're from Austin, you graduated college in 2019, and just last June, so we're talking about 8 months ago, tell me what happened.
So 8 months ago, I had graduated in 2019, had been on and off the dating apps since 2019, and really felt so fatigued by the dating apps, felt like they really weren't working. And in the spring, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna delete the apps and see where it takes me. I had kind of thought about like any meaningful connection I'd ever had came from in person. Like nothing had come from an app. And it's like, well, let me just try my hardest like this summer to meet somebody, you know, in the wild. And I was walking the trail here in Dallas, the Katy Trail, and started paying attention to how many cute people there were. I was like, that guy's so cute, this girl's so cute. Like they were just so, and everybody's in their outfits, but everybody's walking with their headphones, looking straight, nobody's speaking. And so I just jotted down the idea in my phone. I was like, dating on the trail, should I plan it? And didn't tell anyone. Literally that night, I didn't have a following on TikTok, nothing. And I just had the thought. I was like, well, I hope that this reaches the audience that I wanted to. But like, if you're single in Dallas, you know, we're all already walking the trail. What if there's a way to combine dating with something we're all already doing? If you're interested, let me know. Like, let's see what we can do. And then literally like overnight, it blew up.
So you just posted on TikTok?
Just posted on TikTok to literally, I think, 150 followers. And then there it went. So it was crazy. I went to a friend's birthday party that night and I was like, I kind of made a viral video. Like, this is so crazy. And then it was the next morning that I was like, oh, I'm actually gonna have to plan this. Like, it's happening.
Okay, then tell us the next steps. Because so much of what I want this interview to do is inspire like young people, adults to take a frustration and actually act on it, do something about it. But also like people who have this really great idea but don't know how to start. So like, you post on TikTok, you go viral, you start telling friends about it, then what happens? What are the next steps?
Yeah, so, well, first, like, this is so not my wheelhouse. Like, I went to school for fashion retail, I've always been in corporate retail. I'm not in marketing, event planning, nothing. So, like, it was truly, and I think that would honestly be my biggest advice, is like, if you have the idea, just go for it, because you'll learn as you go. And that was really what Datey has been and continues to be, is just trial and error. But honestly, the next step was really, I made another video being like, okay, I hear you, give me a couple of days, like let me think of logistically how this should work. And I talked to my girlfriends who are all super creative. It was like, I need a name, like it needs to be something. We can't just call it like, you know, meet up on the trail or whatever. So y'all were going back and forth. And one of my best friends from 8th grade was like, what about the Datey Trail? And I was like, perfect, like that's it, that's just perfectly said. And then my other friend was like, well, it probably needs to have a marker that like you're single, so you should do like a red wristband. I'm like, that's brilliant. And so really just confided in people that I trusted their opinion and made the video of like, okay, in a couple weeks, it's gonna be on this day from this time, and didn't even like ask any local businesses. Like I just decided that Berkeley's off of Knox on the trail was gonna be a great meetup because it's right there. And then when it started going even more viral, I was like, I should probably tell them that I volunteered their space. So like I went in one afternoon and I was like, hey, I wanted to let you know, like, this is what's happening on Wednesday. I told people to meet here. I don't know, like, how many people are going to show up. And the GM was like, how many people do you think? And I was like, maybe 100, like, max 100. And he was like, okay. He's like, why don't we do a cocktail special and we'll do, like, free lemonade. I was like, that's so great. And a couple businesses had reached out and, like, we want to be a part of it. So we had gift bags of Avenue 8 Canned Cocktails, which is a female-founded and run canned cocktail brand here in Dallas. Then Trinity, which is a female soccer club in Dallas, they reached out to do tickets. So
you had what, 1,000 followers
literally,
on TikTok?
like if that, like from even just the momentum, like we had maybe hit 1,000. And yeah, then the first one came and we sold, it was free, but like we went through 300 wristbands in 20 minutes. And then by the end of the first event, it was 900 people were there. So,
900 people.
yeah, and the Berkeley staff was like, hello? So I went up to the GM and I remember he was actually dripping sweat and I was like, I am so sorry. And he like grabbed my shoulders and he was like, this is amazing. He was like, do not worry, like this is fine. Because I felt horrible because they were like out of everything because obviously no one knew that there was that many people.
What an awesome origin story.
But it was really great, yeah. So that was really it was like a very organic next step of just like figuring out what to do, and then from there kind of just kept going.
And you posted on TikTok because I went through like your whole journey yesterday to refresh my memory because I've been following along the whole time. But tell me about like the next day after that, because that's like, it's one thing to be like, oh, I'm getting more followers or I have a lot of comments or people are coming to this event. It's another thing to be like, I expected 100 and I just had 900 people show up. Like, what was that like? And then what were your next steps after that?
It was, I mean, truly the best night ever. Like, it was literally the best night ever. I went home and like could not fall asleep because I just was so excited. And I'd kind of had an idea in my head of what the next date would be. And so a lot of people that were there were like, when's the next one, when's the next one? And I think it was July 12th. It was gonna be a Saturday. And I was like, Saturday, July 12th, like, I have no idea what the plan will be, but like just mark your calendar. And so next step was like made the announcement, okay, this is the next date. I have no details about like what is going to happen on this date, but like I'll let you know when I know. And so then I started being like, okay, who can I reach out to? Because during the first trail, I was like, I should probably also talk to the trail and like see if I need a permit to even do this. Even though it's public, I still wasn't sure. So I had called the number I found on Google, got in touch with the head of the trail, and she was like, oh yeah, our summer intern like brought this up in this meeting. You know, you don't need a permit, like all good. And so after the first event, I called her and was like, do you have any connections that you could introduce me to of like businesses on the trail, like Ice House, Tequila Social, anything? And she was like, yeah, I know the GM at Tequila Social, put me in touch with them. And then that was where our next event was. So yeah.
And how many people showed up to that event?
That one was like, oh my gosh, well over 1,000. Like I think 1,700. Yeah, it was crazy. And I did get in trouble with the trail after that.
Why?
Because there were too many people. And then, yeah, the trail doesn't like me anymore, but like, that's okay.
That's fine.
So
we've moved on.
We've moved on.
Taking
so
it off,
it's okay.
It's offline and off trail.
It's offline, off trail. But I think it was too many people were like then on the trail, like spilling out of Tequila Social but you know, like, okay, sorry.
Twisty, windy journey.
Yeah, literally crazy.
Okay, so this might be an easy question to answer then, and maybe there's more than one answer, but what's been the biggest surprise since you started this?
Oh my gosh. I feel like there's two parts to it. One, I think the biggest surprise is that like, this is my life. Like that Datey is now pretty much my whole life. I have a full-time job, but this is another full-time job right there with it. So I think that's the biggest surprise is how much time I dedicate to this. And then I think also how like naturally it's come to me also. I think like that's been such a big surprise, like the confidence I found in myself through it, because I never really thought I never thought about owning my own business ever. Like not that I didn't think I was smart enough or like, but I just was like, that's just not my thing. Like it's not my thing. And for whatever reason, I thought that, I'm not quite sure, but I just never had that like entrepreneurial spirit. And so then doing this, it was like, oh, I can do this and I'm like good at this. And it's such a gift. So it was like the most unexpected blessing.
This is what I'm talking about, people. Creativity, self-esteem, we can do so much ourselves.
Yeah.
And so much of what's frustrating about the whole AI conversation and technology is like, it's inevitable, like you need it. Like if you're not gonna use it, other people are gonna use it and they're gonna get over on you. And you're just telling a story about how you were like, I don't have these skills and I'm not using technology. And actually I'm saying technology because it's not really working for me to find love on using technology. Yeah. And not only has it exploded and done well, but it's been good for your self-esteem. It's been great for your confidence. And like you're in disbelief about your own life that you've created from one singular creative idea.
No, I think about all the time, like if I just hadn't posted that one video. And it literally took like, it was maybe a 15-second video and then it took 2 seconds to post. And like, what if I just left it as a note in my phone and like never touched it? And I'm so grateful that I just like did it and was like, literally, I didn't think twice about it when it wasn't ever like a debate in my head. I just did it. But I think about that all the time. Like, what if I just hadn't done it?
Like, don't overthink it. You hear all the time about like, be delusional, like have the audacity 100%. To dream.
Well, and mine wasn't even like delusion. I just didn't even think anything. I didn't think anyone was gonna see it. I was like, there's no followers. I thought maybe people would come and be like, oh, that's a cute idea.
Yeah.
And then like move on. So I just didn't even think like.
Well, that brings me to another important question, which is like, why do you think it did as well as it did? Why do you think so many people didn't just catch on to that first post, didn't just come to that first event, but are continuing to show up and tell their friends about it?
Yeah, I think from, like I said, I mean, I'm almost 29. Most of the people that come to Datey are around, I'd say our median age is like 25 to 34 is like the chunk of people that come majority of the time. And I feel like those people have been on the apps for a long time now. Like I remember in college, my sister was a year older than me. She was post-grad, I was still a senior. She showed me Hinge and I thought it was like this magical land. I was like, this is so cool. Like you have all this access to all these people. And I remember thinking like when I graduate, like I'll download Hinge too. And then I did. And then it was like, okay. And you keep meeting people and it's like always the same cycle. And so I feel like everybody had kind of been through that. And we really did lose the art of meeting people in person. And I think from my experience, I really tried to challenge myself. And if I was going out with girlfriends, like I cannot leave this bar till I go up to one person. Like my friends and I would always try to do that. But you never know. Like you go up to somebody and they're like, oh my gosh, like I'm so flattered, but I actually have a girlfriend. Or like, oh,
or they think it's weird now.
Or they think it's weird or like whatever. And I think the beauty of Datey is it's given people, one, a safe space that every single person that's there is single. Not only are they single, but they've also paid money to be there, so they're intentional about it. And it's just a safe space to make a friend, make a connection, flirt, practice. Like there was a guy that came last night that he was like, I'm just divorced, but I just want to like kind of start to dip my toes. And it's a perfect environment for that. Of like, you go, you talk to people, like you don't have to do anything you don't want to, but like you tried. And so I think everybody was just exhausted and felt like there wasn't a safe space to go be single and meet people that were all on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, investment, intentionality. I think this makes me think about ghosting because I think when people think that there's just such a plethora of opportunity and options, they can just kind of throw things away. And you get dressed, you put your makeup on, you go to an event, you pay $35 or however much these events are costing. I know it's probably different for every event. And you're like, well, I'm here. Like, I might as well
make the most of it. Well, I always say that to people when they're asking me about the apps. And I'm like, the thing that bothers me the most about the apps, and I think the apps can have served purpose for so many people. Like sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, like whatever. But for me, the biggest issue I had, and I found myself doing this all the time, is like, you have a great date, you get home, okay, let me see who liked me. And that's not normal. Like we're not supposed to have all of this access to these people. And it gives you this mentality of like, the grass is always greener. And that, oh, this guy was really nice, but like, ooh, a guy that's 6'5" just liked me. Like maybe he wants to go out next week. And that's just not life. And it's not normal. And so I think with Datey, it's also amazing because you can, I'm truly such a personality person. And you don't know people's personality through Hinge. So maybe there's a guy that I wouldn't have swiped on because I'm like, oh, he's not that cute. But at Datey, I see his vibe. He's so fun and confident and sweet. And it's like, I'm obsessed with you. And like the guy that's so cute is maybe like a loser, boring and rude. And so, but with Datey, you get to like see it right off the bat and just know, which I love.
I love that. Do you guys curate like, do the events just have people come and then it's like you're on your own, good luck, or are there like get to know you activities? Do you like facilitate any speed dating stuff?
No speed dating, because I don't like having people talk to people that they just don't want to talk to. So it's like if you want to talk to them, great. For however long you want to, great. We will sometimes do like bingo cards where it'll be like find somebody that is wearing red or whatever. We'll do sometimes like that. We only will do that for like really big events where it could be like overwhelming to kind of initially start the conversation. But for more like last night was 100 people, we didn't do it because that's a little bit easier to navigate. So sometimes we will, but maybe like 30% of the time, it's really not a lot. Because now our attendees know the expectation is that you come and like you hit the ground running.
Okay, great. So you kind of have the autonomy when you show up to like make the most of it.
Yeah, and people will say like, oh, I'm here and I'm nervous. And like everybody is here and nervous. Like everybody that's here is nervous. I get nervous before every event just like because it's my baby and like I'm always worried. But it's really fun watching like somebody kind of be in the corner and like get up the nerve and like go talk to the person. It's so sweet.
I can't wait to go.
Oh my God, and when they like pull out their phone to get the number, I want to drop dead. Like it's so sweet.
And then you've been hearing about couples that have formed from your events.
No, I actually the day that there's a dating engagement or wedding, like you will not find me. Like I'm gonna be so unwell. It's the best. Like it's so fun. And then all of a sudden they'll come out of the woodworks and be like, we've been together since July. And I'm like, where have you been? Like, why haven't you been telling me this?
How are you learning about these couples? Because you just recently started showcasing on TikTok like couples.
Yeah, we're doing like a couple spotlight.
Yeah.
And because there were a few, normally when people message me, they'll be like, oh, I met my boyfriend through Datey, and I'll keep a couples list in my phone. So like every couple months I'll message them, be like, how's it going? Like da-da-da. And one of my best friends, Bailey, who does Datey with me now, she was like, I think we need to start like talking about these couples because people ask us like, oh, is there success? We're always like, yes, but there's no like proof. And so when we started posting those, people then started reaching out and be like, wait, I'm a success story.
Aww.
Like I actually met somebody. And so now we've gone through some breakups. We have had some breakups.
Okay, it happens.
But you know what, that makes it legit. Like, you've dated and you broke up, but we're at 6 confirmed couples. And one of them is moving in together this summer. I know, so exciting.
Wow. I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah,
right there.
it's crazy.
Like you've made something that's actually changing people's lives. And even if there weren't couples forming, you're giving people a place to go. You're giving people an alternative to something that they've become really frustrated by, which is the dating apps. Yeah. You just hired your friend. Mm-hmm. Okay, how does that work? Does she work full time? Like, what does she do? How does that work?
Yeah, it came really organic. So like I said, I had no experience in any of this world. Bailey and I have been friends for 2 years. Her name is Bailey Turner, and she owns her own digital marketing agency called 21 Digital and has been doing her own thing for probably like a year and a half now. And so when Datey started taking off, I just naturally would like ask her questions and be like, oh, I want to post this. Like, how should I do that? Should I use like a certain hashtag or like, all these different things? And so she would just naturally like give me advice. And then
is she the one that came up with Datey, the name?
No, that was my other friend. She used to came up with the wristbands. Okay. But then it was I was very hesitant to start any type of financial conversation with anything. Like I was so nervous to talk to the venues, to charge people. Like it really wasn't until the attendees were like, we will pay to be here. Like because I never wanted people to think Datey was a money grab. And that was my biggest fear. Because I was like, I have a job. Like I don't need the money. I'll be okay. And it wasn't until the attendees were like, just do it. And so Bailey was really encouraging me to like ask for a profit share or a revenue share from the venues. Like if you don't want to charge the guests, like you're bringing all these people to the venue, ask. And I was like, oh God, like da-da-da. And she's like, why don't I take the call with you? She's like, I'll do it. And I can say like, you're my client and like, we're asking for this. And I was like, okay, like you have to do it because I can't. Like I was so nervous to do it because I was like, they're going to tell me like, no, like girl, be quiet. And so that was literally our first true like situation was we kind of like faked it. And she was like, Datey is my client and like we are asking for this revenue share and blah, blah, blah. And the girl was like, okay. Like, it was no big deal. And I was like, that's crazy. And, but again, that's like, now I have this confidence in myself. Where like, I don't think about any of it. But at the time I was like, little me, like nobody's going to think, you know, that's such a female thing too. I really feel like with how we view ourselves. Cause like a man would never like worry about
Girl,
that.
you're gonna get me started.
I know. And so she really did that. And then it just from there, like really evolved into truly such a partnership. And then when Datey did start making money, I was like, I need to pay you. Like you do this with me every single call I'm on, she's on too. Like we do pretty much everything together. And so she, is a Datey employee, but she still has 21 Digital. But she'd probably tell you like Datey is truly like 50% of her time too.
This is just so cool. Like, what a dream to start something that is good for your community and that you get to do with your best friend.
No, it's amazing. And
you get to go to your fun events.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I wrote this whole thing when we hit 6 months, and I was like, Datey is the product of so many people's love, and I think that's what makes it different, is it's not this corporation. Like, it's me, it's my friends, it's my family who loves it, and now when people come, they're like, what's up, Bailey? Like, because normally people know me because I'm like the face of it. But now they really know her because she's always there too. So it's really sweet.
What has been your favorite event so far?
Oh my gosh. We've had so many fun ones.
The pool party? Okay, what?
I was gonna say, I think the pool party, because it was so huge and so fun. And Bailey, like we were walking around getting content and she was so sweet. She was like, okay, you need to stop and look.
Take it in.
And like take it in, like look what you've done. And it was so sweet, and it was just crazy. So that was probably my favorite, just because it was so fun and like so unique, and everybody was just like playing and having fun. It was the best.
I am having flashbacks too. I think it was a piece of content that you made before that event, but it was like the Simba. You're like, Simba.
Yeah, everything the light touches.
Yeah, like you're gonna be all up in these pools when you guys get here. It's so funny, so funny. Okay, so Datey's growing. You're expanding. You're expanding to Austin. What's like your vision? Like, I'm sure you've had time to think now, even though it was such a shock in the beginning. What do you want to happen with Datey? What's your vision? What do you see when you close your eyes and you think about Datey?
Yeah, I mean, that's me 24/7. I mean, we talked a little bit off camera. I'm like, I change my mind about the future every other day in terms of like my balancing with job and Datey. But I think if I, think about 5 years in the future, my goal would be, we have like Datey ambassadors in every major city that they're people like I've handpicked, hand-trained, and they're like the Abbey of their city, where people come, they know them, they're the ones that are maybe running like Datey LA account. Because that's the thing too, is that I run like all the comments and the messages, and so then when people come, I'm like, oh, hey, Sarah, like we were just messaging.
It's personal.
It's really personal, and so I want I want like an extension of myself in every city. So that would be the goal, like hopefully in 5 years that we just have little Datey ambassadors, and then they're like the face of their own city, and I still run Texas with Bailey, and we just kind of like oversee it all. That's the goal.
Okay, what cities do you have in mind first? Like you got Austin going in April.
Austin in April, and hopefully Houston by the end of the year. So like I'm hoping our Texas takeover like is complete by the end of the year. I would love to do New York. My sister lives in New York. She just got a boyfriend, but
damn it.
I know, but was like struggling with dating and they met through friends. But I think it would be great in a city like New York. I think LA, it would do really well. I think Nashville, Atlanta, like major hubs. That's kind of the thought.
Okay. What advice do you have for people who are currently not in DFW or Austin and they're single and they're frustrated with the dating apps? Like what words of encouragement, words of wisdom, until Datey comes, what should everyone who's so disillusioned do?
I think one, delete your app. Like, just quit.
You heard it here first.
It's like, get your addiction out. Like, just quit the app. And I think we have truly lost the art of trying. Like, everybody is so afraid to fail. Fail. If you go up to a guy and he tells you, like, oh, I have no interest in you. Great. Screw him and you move on. Like, and vice versa, guy or girl. Like,
build that muscle.
Build it up. Have thick skin. You never know what's going to happen. And it starts with just getting that confidence in yourself. And like, yeah, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking, But like, what's the worst that can happen? And I always think like kind of an easy cop out is if you're like, you look so familiar to me. Like, what's your name? And if they're like John, be like, oh, John, like, okay, I swore like I knew you from somewhere. But like, hey, I'm Abby. You know, like, are you single? You're so cute.
Oh, what a great suggestion.
Or like guys love getting complimented on their outfits. Because I like no guy, it's so, because girls are always like, oh my God, I love your top.
Yeah.
But no girl is ever saying to a guy, I feel like that they don't know, like, you look so cute. Like, I love your
top.
outfit. I love your top. But like, I love your outfit. And so I think like that's, I don't know. I think just go cold turkey and don't be afraid to fail.
Delete your apps, pretend like you know them from somewhere.
Yeah.
And compliment their outfit.
Or just be like, you're so cute and like, I'd love to know your name. Like,
why am I reacting like that? Why am I like, oh my God, that's such a cool idea. What a great idea.
But it's like, because it's interesting because you think of like, how would you want to be approached? And if I'm actually officiating one of my best friend's weddings.
Oh, of course you
in
are.
a couple weeks. It's actually my third wedding I'm officiating, which
Get
is like
it.
so crazy. But I was asking them, they met in college and we all went to the same school together. But I was like, remind me like how you guys, because I knew where they met, but I couldn't remember exactly what it was. And she was like, I walked onto the rooftop and he was like, hey, my name's Mason and I'm your next boyfriend. And she was like, okay. And he was like, can I buy you a drink? And now they're literally getting married. So I think it's like things like that. Like, you're so cute and I've got to know who you are. Like, simple.
I did not expect you to have such a good answer to that question. Dang. Okay, so you're also a matchmaker.
I hope so.
Oh my gosh, that would be a really cool offshoot.
Well, that's something that I have truly like banged my head against the wall so many times with it. And I've talked about it with Bailey. Like, we truly like brainstorm it all the time. And I think what it comes down to is like, what if they don't like them? And then I'm like, I really think you'll like this person. But I really do try we have so many repeats at Datey that I really do try to be like, wait, have you talked to this person? Like, I think you guys would get along. So I'll try to do that. But I think I'm hoping in the next year, there's like a different level of Datey that maybe comes with like a matchmaking service.
You call me because that's what I jokingly say that when the robots take my job as a therapist, I'm going to move into being a matchmaker.
There are so many matchmakers that reach out to me.
Really?
Yeah, because they will say like, oh, I have a client. I was just on a call with one of them maybe like 2 months ago. And she was like, I have a client who lives in Dallas who wants like this specific type of guy in like, you know, this raise, this height, like, and if you find him, let me know. And there was one guy that I had in mind, but he ended up not speaking Mandarin, so he was like out. But she was like, he would have been perfect. So matchmakers will reach out and be like, oh, if you see somebody like this, let me know, and like send them my way. Yeah, you would be a good matchmaker.
Thank you. I think, sometimes, I mean, I made a post on TikTok a few months ago that I got so many funny reactions to, because I was like, sometimes I want to set my clients up with each other. Yeah. Obviously, I never could. I never can. But like, I get that brain itch.
100%.
Like,
yeah.
And it seems like what a satisfying thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure the success rate is low. Like, you just never know. Humans do not fit into like Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah,
we're all just we're so multidimensional and nuanced that it's probably not an easy job.
Well, and especially when you're so specific, like that can be really tough.
And that's something that I think culturally might need to shift too. Like, I think if more people take your advice and delete the apps and build back the muscle of talking to each other in person, they'll remember, well, if you're old enough to remember, or if you're young, they'll learn for the first time that like there is so much beauty and so much more opportunity when you meet people in person. Because like for me, if I think about all the people I've ever dated, I would have never swiped yes on them.
100%. And somebody asked me recently, like, oh, do you have a type? And I was like, if you lined up every single guy I've ever dated, they all look so wildly different. Like, and they all came from in-person interactions. And so I think, it's having that in person, it really sheds that layer of being just physical, because the apps are truly like, I mean, 9 times out of 10, I feel like you don't even read their prompts. You're just like, okay, do I think they're cute? What's the height? Okay, cool. And then you go to the prompts and see if they're maybe like silly or something. But yeah, it's really, you got to get back to the original recipe of how it was intended.
Yeah. Human connection. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I have my own sort of selfish reasons for also wanting people to delete the apps. Yeah. Because as a therapist, I have so many clients who come to me and they're really frustrated. And I'm like, I got nothing. Like, the apps have caused people to behave so differently than I have learned to expect people to behave.
Yeah.
Especially in relationships, especially in courtships, that when people are like, well, why is this person ghosting me? Or why is this person like this? Or why were they like this for 6 months and then they change? I'm like, I don't know. I think these things are frying our brains. They're certainly impacting how we relate to each other, how we attach to each other. And I just couldn't agree more that we need to just instead of saying, oh shit, we're at a crossroads, dating apps aren't working, let's use more tech or more AI. Let's just go back to what was working before. Let's go back to the basics.
Well, and I think too, I find it so interesting because, somewhere along the way, we decided that like if you're a girlfriend and a boyfriend, you shall wed. Like, and it's like the craziest title ever. And so now we've been talking for a few months. Well, now we're exclusive. Oh, but like he's not my boyfriend. And then maybe 6 months later he's your boyfriend. And it's actually makes me want to pull my hair out. It's like, I'm sorry, if you guys are only seeing each other, you're sleeping together, you're doing everything together, like he's your boyfriend, you're his girlfriend. And it drives me crazy because people are like, oh, I don't want anything serious. Okay, well then what are we doing? And it's also, again, like it's almost has this huge weight of a title. And it's like, it's really not that deep. Like of course, yes, it's deep in the sense of like you want to date this person. But like if you break up in a couple months, okay, better than divorce. Like you move on.
But I think the non-committal thing that you're referring to is a response to the dating apps.
Totally.
Because they're like, well, I know you have so many options and you might still have your app and I might still have my app. So like, I'm just going to play it cool.
Yeah.
And so if anything, these apps that are meant to get people to commit are causing people to be less committal.
Yeah.
Because they know that there's just such a plethora of opportunity and options. Yeah. And people are not taking other people's humanity seriously.
100%. And they think like, I think a title will change everything when it really doesn't. Like you operate the same.
I say that to my clients all the time. They're like, well, we're not. I'm like, you're in a relationship. I'm
No,
like, moving on.
Yeah.
Okay. You're probably gonna have another like banger of a mic drop for this one, but what advice do you give to people who have, whether it's about dating, whether it has anything to do with technology, what advice do you have for people who have an idea, but they're like, I don't have these skills, I'm not in marketing, or I don't know how to make a website, or I don't know how to do this, or I don't have a ton of friends, or I don't have a ton of community, or I don't have a ton of money. What advice do you have for people who have an idea and wanna realize it, like you have? We're talking less than a year ago, but they don't know where to start.
I mean, you just start, honestly. I feel like you will get the skills as you go. Like if it's meant to be yours, it will be so easy. And with Datey, it was so easy. Like, yeah, there were hard parts that I was like, I literally don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm so confused. But my biggest skill in life is people. And like, that's all that Datey is people. And at the end of the day, like if there's no Sharpies at the event, no signage, like people are still gonna be thriving. And so I think you'll figure it out. And I mean, with Datey, gosh, in the beginning, like I probably was in like $5,000 of credit card debt from just getting it up off like trademarking and making sure I like, was doing all of this stuff that I wanted it to. And my friends were like, Abby, like this is a bad idea. I was like, it will be fine. Like, cause it's gonna be fine. Like I'll pay it off eventually and like we'll be fine. And we have, and it's good. And it's like, I just bet on myself that it would work because once you get the ball rolling and you just believe in it and like you'll acquire the skills you need as you go. And I think if there would have just been so many things that had stopped me. If I knew that this would be the end result, I would have been like, oh my gosh, I don't have custom stationery. Like I don't have the domain. I don't have this. Like, let me get all of these ducks in a row before I start. But the beauty of this is like, it's truly been going, like we've been figuring it out and like refining as we go all the time. And normally, like, I mean, every single week when Bailey and I meet, we're like, what did we think went well last week? What do we think didn't? Like, maybe let's not do an event there next time, or like, let's do it this way next time. And so you just refine as you go and like, you figure it out.
What's standing out to me about what you're describing, though, is that everything that you're talking about is people-centered. Mm-hmm. So leaning on your pre-existing skills of being a people person. That's your innate skill as a person. You're not like, oh, how do I leverage AI and how do I use tech to like build a skill and how do I use AI to make a program and make a little organizational tool. And then you went to your friends who had experience. You went to Bailey, right? Mm-hmm. Who has a marketing agency. Mm-hmm. Like you leveraged your own personal assets and the personal assets of human people around you, and you're using that to build this, not technology.
Well, and honestly, I mean, Bailey will be the first one to tell you, I am so like not with the times with technology. Yeah. I'm like, oh, we're planning out the calendar. I would bring like printed sheets of the calendar, being like, okay, let's fill it out. And she's like, okay. And so I've had to become more digital so that we can truly work well together, because like we can't have two copies of like all these million papers that I like to carry around. So I've had to become more digital, but I had never used ChatGPT like literally one time until any of this. And I still don't really use it. Like Bailey will use it. AI like really does freak me out. And we'll use it for like some things, like if there's like a graphic or, you know, whatever. But it's really been truly like just us figuring it out. And it's what you realize too, I think, was especially something like this, is that now I found all these interesting people through the connections that I've made, that like if I have a question, I can go call someone. Like I don't have to Google it. It's like, oh, how'd you do this? Like I'm curious. So that's been so nice to have like now a new Rolodex of people.
Yeah. While we're talking about it, are there any tech tools or tech programs that you are using that do feel useful?
We use Monday.
Okay.
And I had never used it before, really heard of it.
It's like for organizing to-do lists and stuff.
And it's amazing. Like we have a board of like our ongoing to-do list. We have a revenue board that like breaks out everything. And then we have an events board that'll be like, you know, capacity, if we had to like spend any money, if we have volunteers, that kind of like breaks it down by event. And so that's really helpful because Bailey and I can communicate in Monday, and then we can assign each other the tasks. So like, okay, you're gonna do this and you need to do it by this day. So normally like every Sunday night I sit down with Monday and like plan our week for the next week. So then when we meet, we can like go through it together. And it's really helpful. We used to do like a notes app, and that was like too kind of crazy. So now having it really organized is really nice.
Okay, yeah. I've heard of Monday. One thing, it's gonna sound a little out of order, but I really wanted to ask you too, because since one of the top 3 complaints that people have about dating apps is the safety stuff. So do you and Datey, have you and Bailey come up with like a code of conduct, or like if someone is not acting appropriately at an event, like what's your procedure for keeping people who attend your event safe?
Yeah, I love that. It's something that is truly like always at the forefront of our mind. That is one of the things we're always refining, of like, how do we make sure that everyone feels comfortable and safe? I feel really proud of the fact that anytime something has ever happened, they come right up to us and are like, this just happened and it was really weird, and like we can get it taken care of. So I love that our attendees trust us to be like, let's just go talk to Abbey and Bailey and like it'll be fine. So that's one thing, like it's people always tell us. If there are people that have maybe been, you know, inappropriate or made guests uncomfortable, like we just remove them from all socials so they like don't know where we'll be. So that's kind of like how we do it now. And then if it's like really to the next step, we'll normally bring photos to the venues and be like, hey, your security, like look out for these people, like they can't come in. But typically Bailey and I are at the door, and so like we'll know and we'll be able to be like, hey, you know, it's not gonna work.
And that must be why people trust you and are embracing Datey so much, is because it's so different from this huge corporation where they're like, oh, we have a call center somewhere in the world where if you have a complaint, like you're talking about being the founder of this entire organization, you and your best friend Bailey being at the door and just remembering faces and remembering names and remembering complaints. And I mean, going back to what you said earlier in our conversation, like, I don't want to make money on this. Like, people are so desperate for like the refreshing human, like you're not just trying to suck my attention out of me, you're not trying to suck all my money out of me, you're not trying to suck away all of my dopamine. You're just trying to help people.
Yeah.
Like, it's so refreshing.
Thank you. I mean, that's what it always is about. And if I never earned one more penny from Datey, great. Like I would still love it just the same, because it's never like, I still haven't even paid myself, because I'm like, keep it in an account, like I have a job, I'm fine. Because it really is about the people and making sure that they're feeling not only like that it's making a difference coming, but that they're so welcome, and so like we're so excited to have them there, because some people come and they're literally terrified. And I always say, I'm like, you did the hardest thing and you got yourself here. Like everything else is gonna be fine because like you walked through the door. But they'll come and they're like not well. And it's so sweet. Like they put on their makeup and they put on their outfit and they Ubered and they paid the money. And like I'm always so proud of them. It's so sweet to see. And then to see their confidence. There is a woman who, she would not care about me sharing this, who came to our first 35 plus. I actually thought she was gonna pass out. I was like, are you okay? And she was like, I'm not okay. Like, I'm so nervous. She is Miss Datey. Like, comes in, she's like, hey y'all, like knows everybody now. She comes to every single event. She's like, if there has been a woman or multiple women who have messaged me like, I'm really scared, I send them her way and I'm like, you should meet with her. And they'll like go get coffee, and then Cheryl will bring them in and be like, oh yeah, you can stand with me the whole time. She's like got it on lock. So it's really sweet to see people's growth of like, you know, she started out post-divorce really scared. Now she's like down 20 pounds, Miss
Oh.
Datey dating, and she's just like living her best. And so it's so fun seeing like people's transformation in their personal lives too. Of like, I started out coming and I was in a bad place, and now I'm just like so happy, and this is how I'm making all these friends and
Friends
blah, blah,
too.
blah.
You might
It's
not
amazing.
find like a love match.
Yeah.
You might make some friends first.
I have made way more friends than love matches, and that's honestly sometimes better that way. Like, because you also never know when you're meeting a friend if they're like, oh my God, I actually just met somebody that I think would be great for you. So meeting people that are outside of your circle is also really important.
So true. So true. Just connection, being in your body, being outside of your house.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is if you hang out with the same 5 people every weekend, like, it's probably not going to expand beyond that, especially if those 5 people only hang out with like the same 5 people. So, you know, getting out of the house and talking to people, it's so important, especially like post-pandemic, where I feel like people are still working from home and they're like not having their social skills that we used to. It's so important.
Yeah, the skills are atrophying. Just like a muscle that you don't
100%.
use, it's just going to get weaker and weaker. And this is why what you're doing is so inspiring. Okay, tell everybody that's watching what's next for Datey, where they can find you, anything that people need to know, whether they're local or maybe anxiously awaiting Datey coming to their city.
I love it. Well, if you are waiting for Datey to come to your city, tell us what city you're in so we can add it to our list. But follow us on TikTok and Instagram at The Datey on both. We have a website that's currently kind of under construction, but it's just thedatey.com. I am like Datey customer service on Instagram and TikTok, so if you message, it will be me that's responding. And then, yeah, I would just say what I said in the beginning, delete the apps, get out there, put yourself out there. It's so important, and you don't know what you'll find on the other side.
Yay, thank you so much.
Yay.
Thank you so much for coming.
Of course.
God,
Oh
this
my
has
gosh,
been
thank you for
amazing.
having me. This was so fun.